Good morning BTVT Ed 21. As what we have agreed, today we will watch your recorded discussion about your chosen topic. Am I right? Yes ma'am. Thank you Miss Lakea. So, based on our raffle yesterday, who will be the first to present the recorded discussion? Me ma'am. I am the first who will present the recorded discussion. Okay, go on Miss Lakea. Play your pre-recorded discussion now. Okay ma'am. Please give Miss Lakea a round of applause. I hope that you will listen guys, because I have an assessment afterwards. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I am Jovelyn Lakaya, and for today's discussion, I will discuss about the workshop layout in 9 CBT areas. So our learning objectives.
At the end of the lesson, the students are expected to, first, identify the different 9 competency-based training areas. Second, enumerate the characteristics of a good workshop layout. And third, explain the importance of the principles of CBT in planning the workshop layout. I need your active participation and cooperation to achieve these learning objectives.
So a good understanding of every aspect of competency-based training is a must for every trainer who will use this training modality. So let us now study one of the important aspects of competency-based training delivery, the competency-based training workshop. So in this lesson, the principles behind the arrangement of layout of a good workshop will be discussed so that it will help you plan for the layout of your training resources and areas. So workshop layout. In CBT, this is a well-organized physical learning environment. A well-organized and managed workshop is critical to the acquisition of skills, right? So when planning to lay out your shop, consider the following principles of CBT. So first is training materials are directly related to the competency standards and the curriculum. So your workshop should more or less mimic the equipment that are in the industry. It should be able to provide for the practice of the trainees and competencies of the job. So selection of learning resources in CBT is based solely on the competencies of the qualification. So competencies should dictate the learning resources to be laid out, not the other way around. Availability of learning resources should not dictate the components to be achieved. The competencies to be achieved. So, it doesn't mean that you will provide one piece of equipment, tool, instrument, or other resource per trainee. So, you will not provide them, each of them, a piece of equipment. Second is training delivery is individualized and self-paced. In CBT, the trainees learn at their own pace. Your workshop layout must provide for this principle. So in conventional training programs, it is the trainer who is using the materials as he lectures and demonstrates skills as the trainee sit or stand, watch or listen passively. So the focus of the layout is providing individuals or small groups with high quality learning materials that provide for individualized training. The components of the workshop should therefore be laid out in such a way that trainees will be able to use the learning resources individually. A lecture room is not necessary. Trainee may not have same training needs even within the same qualification. Trainees would not be working on the same competency. So trainees should be given sufficient learning time to perform the competency successfully. The workshop should provide for trainees working on the different competencies in one given time. So, lastly, third is the system allows for learners to enter and exit programs at different times and levels and to receive an award for competencies attained at any point. It means that multiple starting points is allowed in CBT, depending on the prior learning of the trainee. He may start learning any competencies of the qualification. So your workshop layout must allow any trainee to transfer from one competency to another after passing the institutional competency evaluation. So, for competency-based training, your trainees have to master all the required competencies of their training qualification. For this reason, TESDA has identified the different components of competency-based training facilities. So, there are 9 competency-based training areas. First is practical work area. So this area is where the learner acquires the skills and knowledge components of the competencies prescribed by the standard. So this area must be subdivided into workstations which are arranged in order according to hierarchy of competencies, such as workstations for audio electrical, for engine overhauling, and etc. Second is learning resource area. So this area is proximate to the heart, the practical work area. So this area provides the learner with the knowledge requirements in the various modules responding to the competencies. It is a place where projects can be planned and self-paced learning is based. The area has an any of learning materials in prior of such copies for a multimedia environment. And third is institutional assessment area. It is located very proximate to the practical work area, So this is where the recognition of prior learning is done by the trainers. So the component also provides the mechanism of assessing the completion of competencies of a trainer. I mean the competencies of a learner. Upon completion of all modules within a competency, the trainee is handed a certificate of achievement by the institution. So the facility is provided with a computer system that houses and manages learners' individual records. So the skills assessment is conducted at the practical work area. Fourth, contextual learning laboratory. So the facility ensures that the underpinning knowledge, science, and mathematics, and communication principles as applied to the technology are provided to the learner. And fifth is quality control area. Various tests aside from metrology and calibration are conducted in the area, including in process quality control. So 6 is trainers resource area. So this area houses the learning materials, the training regulations, and curriculum exemplars. So this is also the place where instruction produce courseware or of training materials. And 7, distance learning. One major issue of TVET is accessibility, right? So this is the major objective of this component, enhance accessibility of TVET. So this is to enable the learning provision outside and away from the training institution in terms of print and non-print media. 8 is computer laboratory. So this area, from the word itself, computer, this area depicts the major physical change in the delivery, the use of information technology. This laboratory has an array of computer units of which learners are provided for them to learn and gain appropriate IT competencies that may include Word, Excel, even desktop publishing as may be prescribed in the competency standard and curriculum. So for example, for the hotel industry, so there must be a industry training, so there must be a computer laboratory. And lastly, 9th, support service area. This area provides a value-adding competency as such for automotive service technician in situ, welding competency address underpinning skills in the particular competency. So these different CBT areas are being presented to you in order for you to convert and prepare your traditional workshops into CBT workshops. So this is one of the requirements before introducing CBT in your institution. On the other hand, you must have a good grasp of the different activities to be undertaken in each area, for you must orient your learners on these different areas before their formal training training starts or they will be at a loss. So there are 5 characteristics of a good workshop layout. First is safe, accessible. Third is complete components. Fourth, aligned with the competencies of the qualification. And fifth, well sequence. So first is safe. A safe learning environment is one of the most important considerations a trainer should consider in every layout. Remember that a CBT layout should allow trainees on their own. So they must have so as a trainer, you must provide them a safe environment for them to acquire knowledge and skills without any harm on themselves. So second is accessible. A good layout provides for a circulation area both for the trainer and trainee. If possible, divisions of partitions are limited to reduce obstruction to the sight of the trainer as the training is going on. Lay out your work stations to allow easy monitoring. Third, complete components. Lay out the components of CBT published by TESDA depending on the functionality of the components in your qualification. So lay out related components next to each other. For example, learning resource area, conceptual area, and distance learning area. And fourth is aligned with the competencies of the qualification. So workstations such as mock-ups and should mimic those of the industry where your competencies are directly related. Each competency have at least one workstation for you to be able to do CBT. Not the least, fifth, well sequenced. So your workshop layout must be well sequenced. Workstations that are sequenced from simple to complex tasks is recommended. So within a competencies workstation, activities that will practice small tasks to achieve the main skill to be mastered should be provided for. So depending on what is being delivered, the training environment may vary quite a lot from a workstation to an on-site location, outdoors, indoors, or in several locations. So you should always ensure that all learners have access to a safe environment and are trained appropriately. So some qualifications may have workstations that are impossible to set up inside a building, such as in the case of agriculture-related qualifications and those of the construction sector. So in these cases, however, a corresponding work area should therefore be set up so that this task will be practiced by trainees before going to the work site outside the workstation or laboratory. So I guess that's all for my discussion for today, and I hope that you understand and you learned something from my discussion. So thank you and have a nice day.
That's all for my report. I hope you understand my topic and you have learned something about my discussion. So for now, as what I have said earlier, we will have an assessment after. Get 1/2 sheet of paper, we will have an assessment. Are you ready? Yes, Miss Lakea. For type 1. Identification direction, identify what is being asked on the following statements. Write your answer on the space provided. Number 1. In CBT, this is a well-organized physical learning environment. Number 2. This area depicts the major physical change in the delivery, the use of information technology. Number 3. This is where recognition of prior learning is done by the trainer. Number 4. This area provides the learner with the knowledge requirements in the various modules responding to the competencies. Number 5. Various tests aside from metrology and calibration are conducted in this area, including in process quality control. Number 6. This area houses the learning materials, the training regulations and curriculum exemplars. Number 7. This area provides value-adding competencies as such for Automotive Service Technician North Carolina 2, welding competency address underpinning skills in the particular competency. Number 8. This is to enable the learning provision outside and away from the training institution in terms of print and non-print media. Type 2. Enumeration 1 to 5. Give 5 characteristics of a good workshop layout. 6 to 14. Enumerate 9 CBT areas. Type 3. Essay in 3 to 5 sentences. Explain the importance of the 3 principles of CBT in planning the workshop layout. That's all. I will be the one to check your answer. Please pass your paper. Thank you for your active participation, and I hope that you learned something about my discussion.